Tonight, the Oswego community gets together for March for Meals. More on why these meals are donated to local seniors.
It's National Work Zone Week, how members of our community are supporting local transportation and emergency response agencies.
And Secretary of Homeland Security, Christian Nielsen, resigns. What this will mean for the Department of Homeland Security.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening, and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Curtis Cady.
And I'm Adrian Shelton.
A shakeup at the Department of Homeland Security this week as Secretary of Homeland Security, Christian Nielsen, will be leaving her position. President Trump announced current U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Kevin Mikulinin to become acting Secretary for Homeland Security. Senior administration officials say Nielsen had a meeting at the White House with Trump at 5 on Sunday afternoon.
They say she was planning to talk with him about immigration and border issues and a path forward. One of the sources say she had no intention of resigning, but rather was going there with an agenda. Senator Elizabeth Warren tweets, @SecNielsen, separated mamas from their babies and locked little children in cages. I'm not sorry to see her go. I only wish she'd been fired long ago before she ever had a chance to resign. Nielsen tweeted Sunday night she will stay through Wednesday, April 10th to help with the transition.
Storm Team 10 meteorologist Michael Brown is live outside the Marano Campus Center. Michael, how's it looking out there?
Good evening, guys. I mean, it's not too bad right now, but if you could see my breath, it's not that warm either. Taking a quick look at our current temperatures in the area, here in Oswego, we're at about the mid to upper 40s, but as you move away from the lake to the south, you get a little bit warmer into the mid 50s. Looking at our current radar, you can see that there are clouds to our south, and here around Oswego and to our north, it gets pretty clear, And looking here for tonight, we have temperatures in Oswego around 41 with winds out of the west about 5 to 15 miles per hour. We'll get to more later in the broadcast, but that's it for now, guys.
Elected officials, business leaders, and community members are donating time in support of the Oswego County Opportunities March for Meals campaign. The campaign is held in conjunction with Meals on Wheels of America, raising awareness for senior hunger in Oswego. The volunteers are participating in the annual Community Champions Week by preparing, delivering, and serving over 1,000 meals a day to homebound Meals on Wheels members, as well as 6 dining and activity centers in the county.
The Port of Oswego Authority has earned national recognition today after receiving the Robert J. Lewis Pacesetter Award. Oswego was among 7 other ports in the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Seaway system to receive this award. The 2018 navigation season saw a 7% increase from the previous year and moved nearly 41 million tons of cargo.
3 individuals were taken to a hospital following a police chase Sunday night. Oswego police say an officer attempted to stop a gray 2013 Infiniti G37 on East Seneca Street. The vehicle failed to comply and took off at a high rate of speed, passing multiple vehicles, later rolling over on County Route 1. Multiple charges are currently pending and the case is still under investigation. Anyone with information is encouraged to call the Oswego City Police Department.
On the desk, we are joined with our reporter, Tomas Rodriguez. Tomas, can you tell us a little bit about the event you attended?
Yes, Adrian. This year's edition of Cruising Around the World Festival took place yesterday in all residence halls. Each residence hall was assigned a different country from around the world. I visited Hart Hall, which was themed like the Bahamas. This year's edition of SUNY Oswego's Cruising Around the World took place this past Sunday, April 7th. Students can tour the different residence halls on campus. Each residence hall represents a different country or culture, and students are given a passport like the one shown.
We've been in Fanel, Johnson, Mackey, and Sheldon, which are together, Maj, Riggs, Gales, and Waterbury. We're on our way to Seneca now.
Food and drink are also provided, for which volunteers are needed.
I'm making sure kids have fun, come and take pictures.
As you can see behind me, Hart Hall featured the Bahamas. Here students could taste some food from the Bahamas, such as piña colada, or experience the music or the culture from the Bahamas. Not only did students learn about the music and the food from the Bahamas, but also some of the slang from the region. Tomas Rodriguez, WTOP 10 Nightly News. Many students took part in this year's edition, making the event one of the best turnouts so far. If you want to learn more about different cultures from around the world, this is an event you should consider attending next year.
Governor Andrew Cuomo announced New York State's transportation and emergency response agencies are promoting National Work Zone Awareness Week from April 8th to 12th. Staff from the Thruway Authority and state police are visiting 27 service areas and 3 welcome centers, handing out education materials regarding work zone safety and the move over law. Equipment damaged in work zone incidents will also be on display. Motorists are reminded that fines are doubled for speeding in a work zone, with 2 or more violations resulting in a possible license suspension.
Undocumented immigrant workers in upstate New York are pushing toward legislation that will allow them to obtain a driver's license. Even a minor traffic stop could alert immigration agents, which means farm workers have to gamble their fate just to drive to work every day. New York has previously resisted extending privileges like a driver's license to undocumented immigrants, but there has been a recent push across the country to allow it. Immigrants currently have access to driver's licenses in a dozen states, including California, Colorado, and Illinois.
A mistake made by a New York retirement system is going to cost a former teacher almost $50,000. Catherine Sweeney is a retired special education teacher who thought she was getting pranked when she received a call from the New York State Teachers Retirement System. Sweeney learned the retirement system miscalculated her pension, which resulted in the $49,000 bill and over a $500 reduction in her monthly pension check. Coming up later tonight, a federal judge says asylum seekers can stay in the U.S. while they wait for their immigration hearings. More on how a California judge was able to make this possible.
And the American who was kidnapped last week in Uganda is no longer in danger. How the tourist and her guide were rescued without needing to pay ransom.
This is WTOP 10 Nightly News. We'll be right back.
We believe in patriotism. We believe in our country. For 100 years, veterans have been impacting our nation through the American Legion. Learn more at legion.org/webelieve.
It's back and better than ever. One student can win up to $25 in cash. All on Oswego's favorite game show, Spin to Win! Every Sunday night at 9, only on WTOP 10 TV.
Good evening, everybody. This is your Storm Team 10 meteorologist, Michael Brown, here to look at our current weather and what to expect for the upcoming week. As you can see behind me, mainly clear skies for the rest of the night. That's what we should be expecting. Clouds off to the south that will be increasing as time goes on. As we spread out a little bit into the general northeastern area, you can see a system off to our west that will be affecting us tomorrow morning. I will get into that a little bit later. Going into a northeastern view, you can see that temperatures to our south and west got quite warm for this time of year. Right now in Philadelphia, we're around 74, with New York around 63. But you can see quite a big gradient with Boston around 39. Going into our almanac for the day, you can see that here in Oswego, we reached around 64 degrees, with our average being about 54. That's a bit above average, but nowhere close to around 84 where we were in 2010. Going into our futurecast, you can see tonight clouds and temperatures in the mid to lower 40s. As we go throughout tonight into tomorrow morning, temperatures are about the same, low to mid 40s, but those clouds are increasing for your morning commute. Going into around noon, you can see that rain does make its way into the area with temperatures in the mid 50s to near 60 in some spots. That rain quickly moves east, and into the evening commute, it's cloudy again, not much in the way of precipitation with temperatures in the mid 50s. Going into overnight tomorrow night, you can see some snow off to our south and west, but with temperatures in the mid 30s, we shouldn't expect too much to accumulate. But if temperatures do go below freezing, just watch out for those wet spots. Going into Wednesday morning, it clears out, but with temperatures in the mid to upper 30s for a majority of the area, it's quite cold for this time of year. But the next big story is the wind. It's going into tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. You can see winds 15 to 20 miles per hour, not that bad. But as the front approaches and passes in the afternoon, winds actually increase quite rapidly to about 30, 35 miles an hour here in Oswego. As the day pushes on into your evening commute, 30, 35 miles per hour, maybe near 40 in spots. But as the night wears on, that quickly diminishes and won't be much of a problem. All right, so going into our tonight, and here in Oswego, you can see temperatures around 41, not too bad, with winds out of the west about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Going into our 7-day forecast, you can see for tomorrow, 53 degrees with wind and rain. But then going into Wednesday, about 41, but sunny, which is nice. Then going towards our weekend, you can see it's a bit unsettled with temperatures near 60 Friday, but then dipping back down into the 40s for the weekend. I'm Storm Team 10 meteorologist Michael Brown. More after the break.
The second I got on the campus, I knew Oswego was the place to go.
There's a place for everybody at Oswego.
This school just opens the world to you. Have the opportunity to explore and to learn so many different things, not only about yourself, but the people around you and the world.
It definitely is about the student. I felt it to be very about me.
Now that I'm here, I can't imagine myself anywhere else.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
David Richey. I mean, they were. Do you think Bryce Harvey, Tommy John survivor, Nathan Eovaldi?
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. A federal judge says asylum seekers can stay in the U.S. while they wait for their immigration hearings. California's Northern District Court placed a preliminary injunction on the Trump administration's policy Monday. It will take effect nationwide on April 12th. Under the policy, some asylum seekers would have been sent to Mexico while their cases moved through the court system. For now, they are allowed to remain in the U.S. for the duration of the proceedings.
Yujing Zhang, the woman accused of breaching security at President Trump's private Florida club, Mar-a-Lago, has been charged with making false statements to a federal officer and entering a restricted area. The FBI has started investigating the possibility that the incident was an espionage effort, but Zhang has not been charged with any offenses that would signal accusations of international spying. President Trump says he's not concerned about potential espionage. Zhang has been in jail since her arrest and is being represented by a court-appointed defender.
President Trump is reportedly firing U.S. Secret Service Director Randolph Alice. Several administration officials tell CNN Alice is still in his position as of now, but has been asked to leave. The Secret Service Director reports directly to the Secretary of Homeland Security, Christian Nielsen, who resigned Sunday. One official says more firings are expected. Some Washington insiders say the shakeup is the result of Stephen Miller's new role in leading the Trump administration's border policies. Neither the Secret Service nor the White House immediately responded to CNN's request for comment.
The American who was kidnapped last week in Uganda is no longer in danger. Kimberly Endicott and her guide were rescued on Sunday, days after a gang took them captive at gunpoint. John Lornick reports.
And this way. This is not usually how this terminates.
On Tuesday, the U.S. tourist and her tour guide were abducted in Queen Elizabeth National Park.
Uganda has had a challenge with stability over the years. We've had various ethnic challenges and issues between various communities in this part of the world.
The Ugandan police force says the two are in good health after being rescued by security forces Sunday. The kidnappers repeatedly demanded $500,000, which officials refused to pay.
The government will not pay ransom. It doesn't want to set that precedent, especially in the Congo, because it will encourage more kidnappings. But there's actually nothing the government can do to stop those payments, especially if it's a gang.
However, money was handed over by the Wild Frontiers Touring Company, according to a source with knowledge of the exchange.
That's the quickest way to get out of a situation like this, get somebody back, is pay the ransom. But again, it sets a bad precedent.
President Trump commented on the situation Sunday afternoon, tweeting that he was pleased to report Endicott and her guide were released. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The State Department said it was aware of the reports of the recovery, but wouldn't comment further due to privacy considerations.
Venezuelan immigration will once again be the focus of a summit starting today at the Ecuadorian capital of Quito. 200 representatives of the Venezuelan diaspora, as well as delegations from 22 countries and regional organizations, will participate in the event, called the Technical International Meeting on Human Mobility of Venezuelan Citizens in the Region. The agenda includes a report on these refugees and will address the issues of their travel documents.
Almost 5 years ago, the world was shocked by the disappearance of 43 students from a school in Iguala, Mexico. Government of Mexico has signed an agreement with the Office of the High Commissioner of the United Nations to have the UN officials advise on the investigation to guarantee access to the truth and justice for the families of the victims.
President Trump ramped up the rhetoric with Iran. In an unprecedented move, the president designated a powerful arm of the Iranian military as a foreign terrorist organization. Omar Jimenez explains how the change may impact American troops.
The administration is designating Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a foreign terrorist organization.
With this designation, the Trump administration is simply recognizing a basic reality.
It's the first time the United States has ever given that title to part of another government.
We're doing it because the Iranian regime's use of terrorism as a tool of statecraft makes it fundamentally different from any other government.
Iran is reciprocating, officially designating U.S. military operating in the region as terrorist groups.
Most previous administrations, including military and intelligence officials, concluded that the gain was not worth what we would risk.
These tensions are the latest tensions between the two countries, but not the only. It comes almost a year after the U.S. pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal, reimposing sanctions on the country, just weeks after the U.S. recognized Israeli control of the Golan Heights, and on the eve of Israel's presidential election. Iran's foreign minister tweeting, "Another misguided election eve gift to Netanyahu, another dangerous U.S. misadventure in the region."
It's basically adding a label. It's not actually adding new sanctions, so it doesn't get you much, but what it does get you potentially is provoking a retaliation from the Iranians.
The United States' terror designation for Iran's Revolutionary Guard officially begins April 15th. In Washington, I'm Omar Jimenez.
CNN reports officials have been debating whether to make the designation for several months. Coming up in sports, Brian Rudman.
Brian, can you give us a quick preview?
Absolutely. Coming up, the Sabres offseason off to a tough start, and I'll bring you up to date on the latest in Oswego State sports. All this and more coming up after the break. You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News. We'll be right back.
Ooh.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
I'm a lot more confident and a lot more sure of my abilities.
At Oswego is where I really found myself and became the person I am. You work hard and you play hard. I love the environment of SUNY Oswego.
David Richey. I mean, they were. Do you think Bryce Harvey, Tommy John survivor, Nathan Evaldi?
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Brian Rudman with your Monday night sports update. Starting with some women's lacrosse as the Lakers took the field on Saturday against SUNY Potsdam and came away with a 15-11 win. Oswego got off to a red-hot 6-1 start and never gave up the lead. The Lakers got a big contribution on the day from sophomore Cameron Sherman, who netted 5 of the Lakers' 15 goals. With the win, the Lakers advanced to 5-3 on the season, 2-2 in conference, and the team will return to action Wednesday when they visit SUNY Geneseo. Moving now from the turf to the diamond, and it was a busy weekend for the Oswego State baseball team, playing doubleheaders on both Saturday and Sunday. It was a rough start for the boys as they got swept on Saturday when they visited St. John Fisher, losing games by scores of 13-8 and 11-5. But they were able to bounce back, sweeping SUNY Canton at home on Sunday by scores of 11-3 and 1-0. The team now sits at 15-8 on the season. Moving now to the NHL as the Buffalo Sabres are making some moves. Following yet another season without a playoff appearance, Buffalo announced that they have decided to relieve head coach Phil Housley of his duties Sunday afternoon. Since taking over the team in 2017, Housley has led the Sabres to a 58, 84, and 22 record in his 2 seasons behind the Sabres bench, each of which resulted in a losing record and no playoff appearances. The Sabres will now need to hire a new head coach who can hopefully change their fortunes. Moving to a little Final Four action from Saturday night. In the first of 2 games, it was the Virginia Cavaliers taking home the victory over Auburn 63-62. Following that thriller, the Texas Tech Red Raiders took the floor against the Michigan State Spartans, a game that saw Texas Tech take the W 61-51. With the win, the Cavaliers and the Red Raiders set up a matchup for tonight's championship that features 2 teams who have never made it this far in the tournament. Now let's take a look at what went down in Indiana last night between the Nets and the Pacers. D'Angelo Russell trying to lead his team to the playoffs for the first time since 2015. Starting in the first, it's going to be Bogdanovich off the screen. Catch and shoot 4-3 ties it up for the Pacers early. Now later in the quarter, the Nets moving the ball around, finding Joe Harris, and he is going to heat up from 3, draining this one right here, and he would not be done for the night. Now in the second quarter, D'Angelo Russell getting his own rebound, finding Harris again, and guess what? He's going to drain that one too, and he's not done yet. Once again, Nets finding Harris for 3. That's his 3rd on the night. He would have 4 total, 19 points on the night. Move now to the 3rd quarter. D'Angelo Russell finding Jared Allen for the slam, putting the Nets up in the 3rd quarter, and they're not done. Later in the quarter, D'Angelo Russell on the drive, fighting through the contact, going to make the layup, extend the Nets lead. Now D'Angelo Russell trying to ice the game. Hoop and the harm right here seals the game for the Nets. They win 108-96 and clinch the playoff spot in the process.
A 20-year-old Florida woman has had to grow up fast. Samantha Rodriguez is raising her 5 younger siblings ages 6 through 15 after they lost their parents in recent years. Now their community is stepping up to help. After hearing her story, a group of anonymous donors arranged to buy the family a Nissan Versa. The Orange County Sheriff's Office gave Rodriguez the good news. Samantha says doing everything on her own is very hard, but the car is a big help.
Wow, what an amazing story there.
Yeah, so you mentioned March Madness, the Final Four, and how the championship game is actually happening right now. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, the championship game tipped off. We're about 5 minutes into the game. Right now, it's just 2-2, a big defensive battle right now between the Cavaliers and the Red Raiders. It should be a good one, and it seems like they're keeping it close early. Let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And did you say it was 80 degrees in 2010 today?
Yeah, apparently so. Looking at that almanac, 2010, 84 here in Oswego.
And now we're expecting snow?
Possibly a mix. Probably will stay as rain, but you can't uncall it out. Well, looking at the 7-day real quick, you can see that it's mostly rain, but with temperatures in the mid-30s, you can see that it might,
But that's our report for tonight. Be sure to stay tuned for the Zine at 10.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great night.
Pretty good today, pretty good.
Yeah, I thought he called a pretty fair game.
Come on, man, that was a weak call. Yeah, man, that ref is totally soft.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.